This is the Last Call Fantasy Football Podcast. It's Friday for the
It's
first
that.
time ever. We're recording on Friday because life
You didn't
happens,
have to
man.
know that, Kyle.
Well, they know it because we didn't get a chance to talk about the Thursday night football game, and we didn't get a chance to talk about last week. We are already one game down into week 11, right? Is this week 11? Yeah,
Yeah,
this is week 11. So
lovely.
I know. Only a few more weeks till playoffs. But yeah, I jacked up my back and was on meds yesterday, so we couldn't record then. Justin had some things going on. We we fumbled the bag on that. But we're here on a Friday, dedicating half of our Friday night to this silly show.
Yeah, and I just found out that I can make my mustache look like a bat.
Like a bat? How? Oh, okay. I see it. Can I do that? Hold on. Can I do that? Mine is such a weird shape. It kind of does. I know we both look stupid. That should be in the freaking thumbnail. All right. Anyways, it's Friday. We had a Thursday night football game last night, but first, we need to talk about last week.
Shitty one.
We just talk about last week a little bit. Don't gotta spend too much time on it. You know, last week happened. Nothing big happened, so we can just move
Yeah,
on.
me and
past it.
Kyle had our rematch, and I just decided to one up him instead of beating him by 30 like he did me. I beat him by 40. So
Well, Jamar
obviously,
Chase
you know,
fucking
we had
sucks. So
yeah, I had Jamar Chase.
I was doomed from
Bijan
the start.
Robinson went off. Jonathan Taylor had a great week.
Which
Yeah,
are both
he was
players we talked about last week, especially Bijan and Jonathan Taylor, where I was like, yeah, they're both going to have great freaking
Yeah.
weeks.
They
And
did. Jonathan
they
Taylor
did.
was like top 10 and even have a touchdown.
Yeah. I think he
So,
scored 15 standard points against me, and all of that was just rushing and receiving work. He didn't even score.
yeah.
So I was glad about that. And then Bijan just turned it on the second half.
Yeah, 28 points.
Roasted me. And so obviously Jamar Chase dropping a 50 burger on me does not help. I just knew I was going to need a miracle. I was down by 57 points with Cooper Kupp and Tyreek left. Obviously, no one showed up. Did you know?
I was a little scared about because it was supposed to be in the bag before that game even started, but Jaden Daniels has kind of sucked lately.
Yeah, he's against good teams. He's played bad.
Yeah.
So, but a fun fact for you. It's a depressing fact. Last week, Jamar Chase was obviously the wide receiver 1. He had more than double the number 2 wide receiver on the week.
Doesn't surprise me with 50 points.
I know, but not even anyone had a monster week last week. The receivers were terrible. No one had a monster week outside of Jamar Chase at receiver. So
yeah, I mean Terry McLaurin I think ended up having over 100 yards.
I'm gonna look it up real quick. I want to see. Let's see. Week 10. Wait, no.
Yeah, while you look it up.
Yeah.
So Kyle had the deficit in the DFS last week. He did his best, but unfortunately, the fact that we had all of the same players, I had Tyron Tracy, Juwan Jennings. He had Daniel Jones, who sucked. So, yeah, I won 100.78 to 83.7.
Yeah, the deficit really hurt me. I was trying to piggyback off the strategy. One, because I thought the Giants were going to feast against the Panthers defense. They did fine, but like they didn't do what I needed them to do. And just with the
Tracy
deficit,
was good.
the rest of our players we had were the same. Not all of them, but like we had a lot of the same similar players to where it was super frustrating because like I didn't have anywhere to catch up on. So I found the stat. So in our league, shit, I'll give you $10 if you guess who the wide receiver 2 was in our league last year. Unless you already looked it up, that doesn't count.
Last week,
Yeah, last week.
Mike Wallace.
Well, seeing how Mike Wallace has been retired for probably about 7 years.
Something Wallace.
No, you're close, but he was the number 3, Tylen Wallace,
Ah, yeah.
the receiver for the Ravens. Dang. Okay, actually, yeah, that's spooky ooky. No, Marquez Valdez-Scantling
Ah, yeah,
was the
yeah.
wide receiver 2 with
I only knew that
26.9.
because I was doing research earlier. So
Oh, well, so it was Jamar Chase with 51, and then Marquez Valdez-Scantling with 26, then Tylen Wallace 22. So both of which the 2 and 3 receiver were not started anywhere. And then the wide receiver 4 was Calvin Ridley, who I believe was benched. Oh, you have Calvin Ridley, so you benched him, right? Do you have
yeah,
you have Calvin Ridley last week?
yep,
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah.
you
He's been on a tear.
yeah, he's been insane. And then
He's had
George
like
Pickens.
73 yards since like or more.
Like, look at this list before it doesn't make any sense. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Top 9. Jamar Chase, okay. And then Calvin Ridley, George Pickens. Then Ricky Pearsall, Alec Pierce, and John Mechie. That was the top.
Well,
And then Terry
I would
McLaurin.
say Ricky Pearsall and Alec Pierce are like
But
Alec Pierce just does that every
I know, but I'm
5
saying people
weeks.
didn't start them.
Oh no,
So,
Ricky Pearsall, yeah.
so aside from Jamar Chase, Calvin Ridley, George Pickens, like the number 4 highest wide receiver that started last week was yours, and it was Terry McLaurin with 13 points in our league. So
Oh yeah, baby.
that's a terrible showing.
You're
Terrible,
damn
terrible
right
showing.
it was.
Um, but yeah,
Well, he got me 1 point, so it evened out.
I was gonna say. So that's last week. Was there anything we were gonna go over last week before we move on to this week? Did you want to continue with?
Yeah. I just want to go through my track record on, how I did in the bet the house, tough calls, all that. So I went 2-1, with my bet the house bets. With it's a trap, I went 2-1. Um, oh, that was back on track. Okay, and then bet the house. I said Bijan would finish as the running back 1, and he did.
Did he actually?
Yeah,
That's that's kind
that's
of
pretty
crazy.
sick,
Yeah.
right? It's a pretty sick prediction. Then I also had Juwan Jennings, um, leading the team in receptions or targets, which hit. But I said that plus being a top 15 wide receiver, and he was number 20. So
Oh. Yeah, I mean,
whatever. I
still,
mean, it's still pretty good, but
yeah. Bijan
he
was
was
the number
top
one.
20. He was probably a point off of being top 15. And tough calls. You and me both picked Puka over Pickens. That didn't hit, although Puka did have a good game. Marvin Harrison, I had over Debo, so that was the difference between you and me, and I won that one.
Marvin Harrison. Yeah, Marv had a decent game, right? Yeah, he
Yeah,
scored a touchdown.
yeah. It wasn't like they both had good games, so it's whatever. But
Yeah.
that's all I had for from last week. So I'm ready to get into
Well,
this week.
I was gonna say
Unless
I'll
you know,
recap mine real quick.
yeah.
Zay Flowers has over 150 yards against Cincinnati on Thursday night. He did not.
No,
The
he was not
process
that
was there.
involved.
Lamar threw for a ton of yards, and Tylen Wallace had the bomb instead of whatever. So like the process was there, but Zay Flowers actually had a shitty week. So L.
Yeah, he was kind of locked
I
down.
was pretty terrible last week. I'm being for real with you. It was just not my week anywhere all around football in the
How
football
many weeks are you
universe.
going to use that excuse?
Listen here. This is the last one because I'm gonna
Oh,
whoop your ass.
let's get a cheers because I'm thirsty.
All right. Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
Presidente.
I had Devontae Adams, the top 5 wide receiver, gets back on track with Aaron Rodgers against Arizona. That did not happen at all. Quite terrible.
Yeah.
And Tyreek Hill has his best game since week 1, which factually is correct.
Is it actually?
Yeah, because
That's sad.
it is sad.
What do you have, 8 points?
Yeah. His
Jeez.
highest was like 72 yards. So technically that was correct, but I don't care. That's not what I was trying to say. So give me half a point there. Tough calls. I had uh, Joe Mixon over Gibbs. Uh, that hit Raheem Mostert over DeAndre Swift. We got that. We both guessed correctly. DeAndre Swift over Raheem Mostert, who only got 3 carries in last week's game. And then Marvin Harrison Jr. over DeAndre Hopkins. We both took Marv because Marv got the touchdown. DeAndre Hopkins wasn't involved at all because Denver shut that shit down, as they do.
Yeah.
And back on track, Malik Neighbors. Not really. He got an
Yeah,
extra.
Chiefs didn't even score a touchdown, did they?
No, they scored 1. Shouldn't have happened. Phantom illegal contact call didn't exist. It's Travis Kelce touchdown.
That's right. They had 14 points.
Yeah, I thought Malik Neighbors would get back on track. He only added an extra 1.3 points to his total from 5.9 to 7.2. DeAndre Swift, he did not get back on track. He actually had a worse performance against.
Yeah.
Come on, tell me, Patriots.
And I rode with him on
DFS. And James Cook did have a better week against Indy. So like,
yeah, you saw it.
Yeah. It's a trap. DeAndre Hopkins, bingo. Kyler Murray, absolutely not. I think he was the QB3 on the week, so big L. And Josh Downs versus Buffalo, he had 72 yards. Take that with what you will. I would be satisfied with 72 yards. Like if I knew it was a bad matchup and he ended up getting 72,
I wouldn't be happy. But
no,
if
but
I
it's
was
like
a receiver on my team, I'd be like, okay, he did good.
Right. So, and obviously FanDuel got shit on. So we're moving on to better and brighter days here on the Last Call Fantasy Football.
Yeah, we're
podcast.
going 3-0 in each of our segments.
No, 100%. 100%.
We're gonna have to run through this.
I know. So because we got ish to cover. Let's one more swig, one more power swig.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna start with Bet the House number 1.
Juwan Jennings going once, going twice. Okay.
I thought you were about to do rap god. And someone let me hear. I want to get into bars. Anyhow, let's kick it off. Let's go.
Door hinge.
Snore binge. Stumped your ass.
I don't know how to respond to that.
With quality fantasy football content.
That doesn't even rhyme.
Orange, door hinge, snore binge. Yeah, it does.
I guess. Okay. All right, I'll start it off.
Yeah, you kick it
My
out with
Bet the House is Juwan Jennings will finish as a top 10 wide receiver this week. They've got a really good matchup.
Seattle
against Seahawks. That's always a shootout between the two of those teams, so I think there'll be high scoring on both sides of the ball. And Juwan Jennings is the dude for that team right now. Obviously, Debo is the dude for that offense, but he's just a special back. Juwan Jennings is going to be Brandon Ayuk of last year, I think, going forward. He's looked better than Ayuk has,
honestly,
this year. He's actually looked great. So I'm pretty confident. I picked him up on my team, and I might be starting him this week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think I might start him over. Well, actually, we'll get into that later.
Okay. No, I buy it. I'm super happy to start Debo this week because his best game of the year was in a primetime game against Seattle. So,
yep. I wish I would have started him over Terry McLaurin.
Can't do much worse than 1 catch for 10 yards. Also, quick recap of Thursday night. It was garbage offense, and Jaden Daniels got bailed out with some garbage time usage.
It was a good game.
Saquon Barkley is that dude, and I will forever never let you live down the fact that you said he was washed and he was going to suck.
I did not say he's washed.
You said he was washed. You
I
said
did not say
yes.
That.
You said the Saquon that we've always had the past couple of years is the Saquon we're gonna get, which was 10 points a game, 60 yards on the ground, 30 through the air, blah blah blah.
Okay, I still do. Okay, I'm not saying
you cannot tell me you haven't watched.
Okay, but listen, a lot of his success is coming from that O line. You saw what
No,
Kenneth Gainwell can do.
absolutely not. And yeah, Kenneth
Yes,
Gainwell.
that O line is the best O line in football right now.
Um, Technically, the
They have a
Lions in
rookie.
Denver have the two top O lines
Yeah,
in the
that's
country.
bullshit. They got
True.
Landon Dickerson, Jordan Mailata.
Landon,
Their rookie,
dick in your mouth. No.
their rookie center is incredible, actually, too.
Did you not see
Lane Johnson.
last night Saquon Barkley hit the A gap and then click the B button and spin out around?
Yeah, that was crazy.
He.
I'm not saying he's not a great running back. I ate my words earlier in the season.
No, but
he
I'm gonna.
hasn't lost a step, and he is going to be good for fantasy on that team. But I never said he was straight up washed.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I will not let you have that. You said he was washed. He
I said
honestly,
Derrick Henry was washed.
is there a player you would rather have at running back than Saquon? I don't think there is. I'm being so serious. Even over Derrick Henry, I would take Saquon in a heartbeat.
I think you're right. I don't know.
I'm so serious though. What is
Christian
the
McCaffrey.
downside? Well, okay, all right. Fine. Well, we haven't seen it yet,
Yeah,
but
but he
right
had,
now,
what, 13 points week one back. So with no
Saquon
touchdown.
Barkley only comes off the field when he's tired,
Yeah.
and he gets passing work. I guess the only knock for him is he doesn't get the 1 yard, like the goal line 1 yard to go touchdowns. He doesn't get that. He will never get that. But that one singular thing, he has the skill, the O line, the good team. He's never coming off the field. So,
Yeah.
what else do you want? No, yeah. Crazy talk in the offseason from you, by the way. All right, now that I'm done with my tangent, I like Juwan Jennings. Anyways, bet the house.
All right.
That Jared Goff
Not a good start.
continues his slump because Gibbs and Monty both finished as top 10 running backs against Jacksonville this week.
Man, I always forget that like when we're doing bet the house, we can like do negative things.
Yeah, you can.
I need to do more of this.
Yeah, Jared Goff won 5 picks last week. Still finished with 11 points in our scoring, which I think is not fair. But even then, I don't think Jared Goff sucks this week because he sucks. I think that they're going to get a lead, and Gibbs and Monty are going to run it down their throat all game long. So I think they both finished top 10. I almost went even spicy enough to say that they both scored 2 touchdowns. Like I think that's Monty and Gibbs, David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs.
Okay. So what you're saying is Goff is not going to do well, and the running backs are going to feast.
Right. Yeah, I think this is going to be an absolute butt fucking in Jacksonville or Detroit. I don't even know where they're playing. Don't even matter.
That doesn't bode well for my next bet the house.
Well, that's why mine's going to be correct and yours is going to be wrong. I'm telling you.
I think both of ours are going to be correct. I have Amon-Ra will have 100+ yards and a touchdown. So obviously, like they're not going to. Not that they haven't before, but they're going to pass the ball until they don't need to.
But see, that's the thing.
And then they're going to let the running backs eat. So once Amon-Ra gets his, then they'll feast with the running backs.
The thing about Amon-Ra is to get to 100 yards, I think he has to catch 8 passes.
He's
just not he's a down the field type of guy, and I don't think
more to where like he catches the ball 15 yards down the field and he runs for 20 more.
Not that it's impossible. Like if I had to 100 yards is I don't know. It's very plausible, but
Great.
I just think that they're going to dominate this game enough where Amon-Ra doesn't have to get the volume to get to those numbers. Because he could very well be like, I don't know, 4 for 72 and a couple long passes, but I just don't the type of player Amon-Ra is to get the volume to get to 100 yards. If this was like AJ Brown or Justin Jefferson where their average catch is like 22 yards down the field, something like that, I would feel differently, but just the type of player he is, I don't know if he's going to get enough opportunity to get to 100. I think it's going to be, because obviously I think the run game is going to take off. I think that they will. It's one of these games where it's going to be such an ass whooping that people get left out.
Jacksonville, the one strength that Jacksonville's defense has is their D line, though. So I think that they may have a sneakily okay run defense.
I just think it's the polar opposite. So the offense isn't going to move the ball at all, and so
Right.
Detroit's going to get it in good field position. They're going to be up, so like the whole game, they're just going to keep running the ball, even if they do have a
I
decent
agree
run
with
stop.
that. I agree with your game script. I just think that he's going to get his before.
Okay, so we'll see which pair or trio of Lions gets theirs this week.
Yeah.
So. All right, number 2 for me, bet the house that Joe Mixon finishes as a top 3 running back this week versus Dallas. Dallas is currently freaking dumpster fire, so it's the same mindset between Gibbs and Monty. I think the Texans roll Dallas this week with Cooper Rush at quarterback. They've got nothing going on offense. They're going to be in a positive game script the whole time. They get Nico back. Nico's going to get his. And even in neutral game scripts, Joe Mixon's getting 20 to 25 carries a week
Yeah.
against a Dallas defense that has been destroyed by running backs. I don't see how it goes wrong
Yeah.
either.
I'll be interested to see how Nico Collins coming back affects that, because they may want to pass the ball more. But
I mean, even
yeah,
the first 3 weeks that he played, he was getting those
yeah,
carries and had Nico there. So I don't know if it changes. Maybe he gets 3 less carries. I don't know. But
yeah.
regardless, I think Houston rolls in this game and Dallas looks towards next year. I think the players are going to start quitting. I think this is going to be a domination by the Texans. 2 weeks in a row, I think they get dominated. On, what is it, Monday night?
Good
Yeah,
game.
Monday night football in Dallas. I mean, you seen Cooper
That's
Rush
gonna
play
be a shitty
football?
game.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's weird because he was like what 5-0 as a starter before. Like he looked
Yeah,
good in
because guess
past
what?
years, and then this year he's just terrible.
No. Last year, when Dak was out, they had one of the best defenses in football. And you remember, Dallas defense was not to be messed with. Trevon Diggs
Yeah,
had
but
like
I
8 picks.
remember him being fine for like CeeDee Lamb and
I don't know, bro. But regardless, this Dallas team is way worse. So I just do not see a world that Joe Mixon finishes outside the top 10. And I think
so
upwards
you said
potential.
top three.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I think top 10 is the floor for Joe Mixon this week.
I think that's hard for running backs, but I wouldn't bet against you.
I mean, tell me one reason it's not plausible.
There's a lot of bad matchups for some good running backs. I know like Bijan, Jonathan Taylor, um,
I mean,
I think Aaron
Brian
Jones.
Robinson had a bad matchup last night. He fell into the end zone. We'll see if that comes back to bite me in the ass, not putting him in with his 13 points
Yeah, we'll
at
see.
this point in the season. But yeah, hit me with your third.
My third, I wish I had the balls to follow my gut here because my third is that Justin Herbert will be a top 5 option this week at quarterback.
I know. I saw that when you sent that to me, and I was like, oh, and he still decided to start Jaden Daniels when you picked up
I
Justin
picked him
Herbert.
up to almost play him. He has a great matchup this week.
They're playing
Man,
Cincinnati, right? Yeah.
Cincinnati, yeah, great matchup. He's been killing it. He's been averaging around like the 30 passes a game, which is great for him. People forget he was a top 5 quarterback consecutive years, in fantasy, and the coaching system for this team, John Harbaugh,
Justin Herbert.
John Harbaugh, brought in his system, but I think that he's starting to realize like his way of playing is not the same as it was. Geez, 10 years ago when he won that last Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You can't really have that ground and pound physicality team if you don't have Gibbs and Montgomery.
Yeah.
He's got J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. It's not going to work.
I know.
But he's got to let his star quarterback feast, and he's starting to let him do that. I picked him up, and I think
Honestly, he can't do
I'm
much
going.
worse than what Jaden Daniels did for you on Thursday. So
He ended up with like what 15 points, I think. So
there's
it's
no
even.
way he even ended up with that much.
Yeah, he ended up with 15 points.
Well, because he got the Oh yeah, because
He got a 2-point
a
conversion and a
15 point.
touchdown.
Yeah, without that, you would be sitting at 7 points.
Yeah, 7 or 8. Yeah.
So, I mean, for context, Jalen Hurts had 260 total yards and a rushing touchdown, and he finished with 18 points.
Yeah.
So, you by 2.5 points matched Jalen Hurts on a game that Jaden Daniels sucked. So, count your lucky stars. But yeah, so I'd venture I would bet that it's very 90% chance that Justin Herbert outscores Jaden Daniels this week.
Yeah. I think he'll be fantastic the rest of the year. So, all
Hopefully, he
right.
did enough for you to take on Caleb's team, who's currently sitting at over 100 projected points.
I know.
And he also picked up a great tight end in Jonnu to start this week.
I think I'm screwed.
I mean, yeah, two.
He doesn't have a ton of superstars on his team, but he just has a ragtag group that gets it done. And that's how he always plays fantasy football. He has some balls, dude. He'll pick up and
Caleb,
start Jonnu Smith over
he
freaking.
Caleb
If he had
has
Brock
no
Bowers, he would
loyalty.
be like, I'll start Jonnu Smith. He's been doing better.
He has zero loyalty to players, is what I've
Yeah.
noticed. Zero
And
loyalty.
he always does pretty well, so I don't know. It works for him.
I know.
But
But he ain't your four-time champ. Like, mwah.
yeah.
Anyhow, all right. Let me wrap this up with our bet the house. Bet the house that you're going to wish you benched Drake London this week versus Denver and Passertan.
Yeah.
He is not. He's a great player and someone that you've been riding. He's been on a tear, but worries about Kirk Cousins' health. Kirk Cousins
Yeah.
might not play this game. Might be Michael Penix, and
That'd be sick.
I know, right? Bo Nix versus Passertan. I'm ready for that. That would be so freaking
No.
cool.
Bo Nix versus Michael Penix.
What did I say? Bo Nix versus
Passertan.
Passertan. I played it back.
That is what it's gonna be. But
Nah, that's iron sharpens iron, baby.
yeah.
But no, I mean, Pat Surtain's track record of shutting down number one receivers, he is a shadower. Pat Surtain shadows whatever number one receiver you have, and he's locked them
Yeah.
all down. If it is Michael Penix, then I think you can absolutely forget about it. Not that Michael Penix can't be good, but if I'm playing one of the top defenses in the league with a rookie quarterback in his first start, I think it's going to be tough. But
Yeah. If Cousins does play, I like Mooney. But yeah, I agree with you with London.
yeah, I don't mind Mooney. The proof is in the pudding, man. I mean, he's just not to be fucked with, and
Mooney's averaging like 9 points a game this year.
yeah, he's been great. He's been the number one wide receiver on my dynasty team this year.
Yeah, dude, he's been great.
Oh, speaking of dynasty,
well, PPR, yeah.
speaking of dynasty, we're
playing each
playing
other in
this week.
dynasty. I'm projected to win by like 64%.
Your dynasty team is healthier than mine currently. Well,
That was been my issues. I've lost a lot of my games so far because I lost Jonathan Taylor, I lost McCaffrey, I got Taylor back, then I lost Evans.
yeah. Oh,
And
that's
now
right.
finally I get Evans back. Hopefully, like next week, I have McCaffrey and Taylor back. I picked up Jacoby Myers. She's been great. I'm starting to build it back up. So now I'm in a weird spot because I'm like, I thought about selling my team, but I'm thinking like looking at my team, like it's still a good team. I just got screwed with injuries. Should I just run it back? I think I'm just gonna run it back, but we'll see.
It's year one. We'll figure it out. But yeah. So that's my final. You know, you're gonna wish it's hard to bench Drake London. Like you probably don't have better options on the year. But I'm just saying,
Who would you bench Trey for? Would you bench him for Calvin Ridley?
I would play Cortland Sutton in the same game over Drake London.
Okay, what about Calvin Ridley?
Yeah, 100%. I would start Calvin Ridley over Drake London
What about DeAndre Hopkins?
against the Bills. Yeah, probably. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, it's tough because like obviously he's like a top 4 or 5 receiver this year.
currently he's sitting at the wide receiver 8 in our league. But
If he was on my team, I wouldn't bench him.
I know. That's why I worded it this way. You're going to wish you benched Drake
Yeah.
London because
But
it's
you can't.
really you can't.
You can't bench him
I know.
because
He's always a touchdown threat. Like he's a big body
Yeah,
guy. He can get you a touchdown, and he very well may get 3 catches for 2 touchdowns and 14 yards. Like
he only
that
needs
could
to
be
catch
possible.
him slipping on like 2 or 3 plays, and he is a very talented wide receiver. He could break the mold with the Pat Surtain thing. So
Doubt it. But here we go. Um, all right, moving forward. We're chugging along. Speaking of chugging, power sip.
all right, let's get into the tough calls.
Hit me.
I've got Nick Chubb at New Orleans versus Brian Thomas Jr. at Detroit.
Brian Thomas Jr. at Detroit versus who'd you say?
Nick Chubb
Oh,
versus New Orleans. Nick Chubb is scary because I don't know. He has not been efficient at all. He's been like 2.3 yards a carry.
shocker. Dude's got a
Yeah.
robo knee.
But he's for whatever reason they're giving him all the work.
He's still Nick Chubb. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
and it's a great matchup for him. You got Brian Thomas.
honestly, I'm taking Nick Chubb over volume alone. I don't. I
Yeah,
told you. I think this is utter domination. I don't care what the Detroit secondary looks like. Mac Jones and Brian
my
Thomas coming with the chest injury. They're not getting it done. Give me Nick
my
Chubb.
only thing that made this interesting, in my opinion, is that if they are down, all they're going to do is sling the ball. They're not going to run the ball. So if you give Brian Thomas 19 targets, he's going to have
He's
a good
not
game, right?
going to though. But even then, what's the quality of those targets? Mac Jones was awful last week. Like
Yeah, but if he
objectively
catches
awful.
10 balls,
He's not gonna catch 10 balls. He's gonna catch maybe 5, and they're going to be short pitter patter targets because they're gonna try to move the ball, do something. He's gonna end the game maximum 5 for 43. That's what I think, and I don't want
I
that.
think I'll ride with you. I'll ride with Chubb.
I'm alright with Chubb too. All right, my first tough call is actually a matchup in our league. Two running backs going head to head: Najee Harris versus Baltimore or DeAndre Swift versus Green Bay. Baltimore has been shutting down running backs, so I'm not excited to play Najee versus
Green
Baltimore.
Bay's been tough too.
Not necessarily against running backs specifically. Their defense as a whole has been good. I
If I remember correctly, that was like Jonathan Taylor's worst game so far.
um
That might have been the game he got hurt in.
no, no, Jonathan Taylor. He had a. I think he had a decent week against Green Bay. I'll look it up because I'm curious. Um, but
Yeah, okay. Well, so you got Najee versus the Ravens. Najee's going to get a lot of work.
no, he had 103 yards against Green Bay,
Uh, okay.
32 receiving yards. He had 15.5 points in our league. So
I
the Bears have been a cluster since they started shitty, ramped it up, and then fell off a cliff. But they fired their offensive coordinator. Who knows what change is going to
I'll
come?
ride with Swift. Even if they get down, even if they're passing the ball a lot to try and catch up, Swift is still going to be involved because he's pass catch. He's just the 3 down back right now. And Najee Harris, Jalen Warren is coming back or has been back.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably the let's catch back up back.
Mm-hmm.
And the Ravens are going to score a lot, and the Steelers are going to have to try and keep up with that. So I think they're not going to run the ball as much as they do normally. So I'd go Swift.
Yeah, I like the thought process. I didn't even think about when I was thinking about this, the whole Jalen Warren thing and them potentially being down or having to score.
Yeah.
And DeAndre Swift's the only guy, but that's the whole point. Like Najee Harris, I think is the back I would probably rather have at this point in time, just because the offense is better in Pittsburgh
Yeah.
at this point, and that's a huge thing for me. Like with running backs, like you won't catch me having Ramondre, and unfortunately, this is like a bad call. Whoa, Zelda, chill out, bitch. Like I would never be excited to have a guy like Chuba Hubbard. He's been playing great, but just because the offense is so bad, I just know that it doesn't have to be. Or you're going to need a lot to go your way. Chuba Hubbard is the anomaly in this situation, but like guys on bad offenses, like like we said, Nick Chubb, like we said, um, the Tony Pollard slash Tajay Spears combo has not been good so far. And that's just not something I want. So DeAndre Swift takes a negative there, but just with the volume there, maybe the potential new coordinator, that shit changes. And did she find a squirrel or something? As Alyssa's home, isn't she? Mommy's home. That's why. Anyways,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, I think so. You know what? I'll highlight green for DeAndre Swift. We'll come back to that. This one might be spicy because Najee's been playing good football. So
You went with DeAndre Swift too?
yeah.
All right.
All right, hit me with
All
your
right.
two.
My two is why I said let's put a pause on my start sit decisions. Ramondre versus the Rams. Rams are 13 against running back, so it's
Mm-hmm.
middle of the pack, but up there. Then you have Juwan Jennings versus Seattle, which I think is like 25th against wide receiver.
I'm taking Juwan Jennings all day, every day.
Really,
Yeah, I think.
the issue is it's tough because Ramondre gets no yards, but he gets 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, but you can't bank on that every single week.
You're
Like,
right. It's the shoe drops eventually, but
I, I just don't. Is
he
the
has
floor,
sucked.
the
He's been a
floor?
really shitty running back this year, and yet for fantasy, he's probably averaging like 12 points a game.
I mean, I'm gonna pull up Ramondre Stevenson because I just one, I think the Rams win easily. I
Yeah,
think the Rams in a lot of their stats, like I'm starting the Dolphins defense this week in fantasy. They're currently the 28th ranked defense because their stats are skewed. They've had no Tua, and it was a clusterfuck to start the year. I think it's very
yeah,
similar with the Rams. The first 3 weeks, they lost their entire team. They lost their O line. They lost their receivers. They lost their defensive players. They lost everybody. So I think Miami and Los Angeles going like bar for bar, blow for blow. I think it's like okay, these teams are back, and I
yeah.
think
I
Miami,
think the Rams defense is sneakily up there right now.
and that's what I'm saying. The Rams like the Rams are surging. I know they lost a game to the Dolphins, but I think it it just so happened to be that they played each other last week. I think these are two teams very similar in very similar situations that are on the rise, and I don't think that the Patriots have a chance in hell at winning this game.
Yeah.
And
Are you looking at his stats?
yeah, he had 15 to start, then point 0.3 in the game against the Jets. Of course, the only game I bet on his bitch ass. 4.2 against the Niners, 15-0, missed a game, then 2.5. And then the past 3 weeks, 20, 17, and 7. But he
Yeah.
scored 4 touchdowns in 3 weeks. But he had 48 rushing yards. He scored 17 fantasy points with 16 rushing yards and 38 receiving
That's
yards.
what I'm saying. He sucks so bad, dude.
So he is going to have opportunity. So like he can do that. He can fall in the end zone. But if I'm going to bet my money, it's on a good player with a good matchup and a good situation. That's just me.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna start Jennings this week.
Ooh, okay, spicy.
I don't think Dermondre has it in him to have like a phenomenal game. Whereas I think Jennings, I don't know. I think his
Yeah,
ceiling could be like a
he's
30
already
point
scored
game.
he's already scored that this year. It's like 170
Yeah.
and 3. And you're already down with Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin sucking it up. So
Yes.
you
I think
probably need some
I
upside.
might even. It's honestly between him and Calvin Ridley.
I I think you're solid either way. I would
I
do
think so too.
Jennings because I think Calvin Ridley's floor is way lower because who the hell knows what
Yeah.
Will Levis will do, but um, they both
I
have
think you're right
tremendous
there.
upside. So, all right, my second bet the house or no, sorry, we're past that. We're moving down the line. J.K. Dobbins versus Cincinnati. Nope, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Haha. Zay Flowers at Pittsburgh or DK Metcalf at San Francisco. DK Metcalf, fresh off
Who's
injury.
who? Oh wait, that's Steelers. Okay.
versus DK Metcalf at San Francisco. Both on the road in tough environments against good teams. Both the number ones for their team. DK's coming off of an injury that sidelined him for 3 weeks. And Zay Flowers coming off a dud against the Bengals. Where do the points lie with these players? This one's tough. I think DK Metcalf is safer.
I would go with DK Metcalf there. I think that, like you said, his floor is safer. He is the staple of that offense. Him and Kenneth Walker. And Zay Flowers, sometimes somebody else just gets it done on that team. Rashad Bateman has been sneakily good this year. He's had games consistently. Like, he's had games in the past, but this year he's been consistently having games here and there. You know what I mean? Which sounds so stupid. He's consistently having games here and there.
But no, you're so right though. I'm curious to see where his exact stat line is.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think he's been. Yeah, he's not even rostered in our league, and he had 5, 5, 8, 2, 11, 7, 22, 2, 2, 11. So
yeah,
he doesn't quite fit the threshold for someone we would roster in our leagues. But like, these aren't irrelevant numbers. Like, he's been fine. If I had to, so I'm curious. I'm curious what Tyler Lockett versus Rashad Bateman looks like as far as wide receiver.
I think
twos.
Lockett's been decent, especially with Metcalf out.
Let's see.
Would you take DK Metcalf too, though?
Hilarious. So Rashad Bateman has outscored Tyler Lockett by over 20 points on the season.
Wow.
So far.
That's actually a lot.
I mean, Tyler Lockett scored 2 touchdowns. He's had 2 games of 12 points. And both of those, he has not topped 60, or his week 1 was 77 yards. And then other than that, he hasn't topped 65, 63, 46, 45. Like, those are his highest receiving totals. So I think they both have comparable number 2s, but I agree. I think DK just commands more from the offense than Zay Flowers does.
Yeah. DK Metcalf's going to have 8 to 10 targets, guaranteed.
And they throw the ball way more. It's just tough because, I mean, DK's coming off of an injury. Zay Flowers is a top 10 wide receiver so far. Like, he's had those boom and bust games.
I don't think that...
I'm with you. I think I lean DK Metcalf, but it wouldn't surprise me if he got eased back in. He didn't have a monster game, and Zay Flowers ended up outscoring him.
It would surprise me if the 49ers-Seahawks game is a low-scoring game. Neither of those defenses are really great. The Ravens and Steelers both have pretty decent defenses, and it would not surprise me.
Ravens do not have a decent defense. They have a decent run defense. Their pass defense is Swiss freaking cheese.
Well, either way, I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if that's a low-scoring game. Divisional.
So is
Tomlin
San Francisco and Seattle.
Yes, but it's just a different rivalry there.
I know.
Tomlin knows how to contain Lamar Jackson. He's probably the only person who does. So
yeah, I'm just saying that's the reason why I picked these two. Is there's a ton of similarities between this matchup. They're both on the road against division rivals.
Yeah.
They both have things going for them and going against them. So we both lean DK. So we'll see how that matches up.
Yeah, people also forget DK was on track to be like a top 3 wide receiver at this point if he
he
continued doing what he was doing.
So great. But hit me with your last one.
All right. I got Tank Dell at Dallas versus T. Higgins at the Chargers.
T. Higgins, 100%.
Well, we don't know if Nico Collins is going to be back, so I guess that changes a lot.
I think Nico's back, and I've been super disappointed in Tank Dell's involvement or like ability to demand something from the offense.
He's only had one game where he's like taken over the game or like been the focal point.
And it took a bomb touchdown to get there.
Yeah.
Or no, did he score on that play? No, he did. He did score on that play. But I don't know. I just did a trade in our league. I gave up Cooper Kupp and Marvin Harrison Jr. for A.J. Brown and Tank Dell. Marvin Harrison Jr., it was difficult for him to crack my starting lineup. So in my head, it was A.J. Brown versus Cooper Kupp. Who would I rather have? So I did A.J. Brown. So Tank Dell is someone who I wasn't like super. And funny enough, you say this. The guy who I was trading with, he has T. Higgins, and I tried to get T. Higgins looped into that instead of Tank Dell. And he said, no, at that point, I'm giving up too much and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
Fair.
it's a little scary though because Tank Dell's coming off an injury. What I think it's a hamstring injury
And he
or
also got
quad.
shot.
What?
Yeah, Tank Dell was shot in the offseason.
Oh, T Higgins. I'm talking about.
Oh, I thought you said Tank Dell. Oh,
Tank
well,
Dell didn't get shot.
yeah, he did. He got shot at
No,
a birthday party.
he was like in a club that.
No, he got
Um,
shot.
no, Ricky Pearsall got shot.
They both got shot, bro. Yes, that's what I was
I
like,
don't think
again?
that Tank Dell got shot. I think he got shot
Dude,
at.
no. Yeah, Texans wide receiver Tank Dell wounded in Florida shooting. Was shot in Sanford. Shot in Sanford,
What was he
Florida.
doing at Stanford?
I telling you, it was a birthday party.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say he was shot in one of his legs and reportedly sustained a flesh wound.
Oh,
But
okay. So yeah, it was nothing that was gonna keep him out of the game.
okay, you get shot and play football, motherfucker.
Flesh wound. Wait. Okay. Does a flesh wound mean that you didn't hit any bone or like
Yeah.
muscle,
Well, it went.
or does it mean that it like grazed him?
No, it went through. It went through his
You
leg.
sure?
Yeah. Yeah,
I
he was talking
don't
about it.
think that's possible.
Well,
How do you get shot in the leg and not hit any muscle?
I didn't say it didn't hit any muscle. He had to rehab it. He was out for a while. But he also
He
was
broke
coming
his
off.
leg.
Yes, but that was the end of last year. So
Hmm.
I don't know. Tank Dell's just been super disappointing. I have Tank Dell on my bench the same I had Marvin Harrison on my bench
Did you know Ricky Pearsall just sorry? Did you know he got shot in the chest?
twice.
Yeah, that's crazy. He actually could have died.
Yeah,
He
they
should have
did.
came out to many men.
If yeah, well,
Ryan Rollins got shot in the leg. That's pussy shit.
he got shot in
Ricky
the ass
Pearsall got
actually.
shot.
He got the fucking
Okay.
he got the fucking Lieutenant Dan. He got the
Yeah.
Forrest Gump.
Ricky Pearsall took that shit to the chest, bro. That's insane.
I know. I don't like that guy.
In a
But
mugging.
anyways,
Okay, well,
so Tank Dell, who was the other player? Oh, I said T.
Higgins.
Higgins. No, I
I'll
think T.
take
Higgins is
Higgins.
healthy. I think he's the better player. And I think Joe Burrow likes to put up some points. He's got the matchup's not there. But Tank Dell has failed in good matchups. That's why I'm not bullish on him. I'd rather take T. Higgins, the better player.
I'd take the risk.
With T. Higgins?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, one more for me, and then we'll wrap this up. Yeah, because we got some ish to go through, man. All right,
Yeah,
a quarterback. We're talking about quarterbacks now. Brock Purdy versus Seattle, in the same mindset there, or Jordan Love at Chicago. Brock Purdy at home versus Seattle, a good matchup, or Jordan Love versus Chicago, who's been shutting down
I believe Chicago is the number one
against
defense against
quarterbacks.
quarterbacks.
I think it's
Yeah,
going to
that's
be
hard.
a Josh Jacobs game. But Jordan Love, with the weapons he has in the offense and just the ability to dominate a floundering Chicago team, or Brock Purdy, who's been like Mr. Never Bust but Never Boom, is how I see Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, he's right there in the Michael Pittman tier, in the vanilla ice cream. You like it, but you wish you had something else. He's right there.
I would start Brock Purdy because, like I said, I think that's gonna be a high scoring game. I'm in on Jennings. I'm in on Debo. I'm in on Kittle. So
Yeah. I think so too. And this is the first time we've aligned on all three of mine. I just think they're close because,
we aligned on all three of mine too.
really,
Yeah,
look at us. Who
I
would
actually
thought?
was gonna mention that. Who'd have thought?
Not me. We never do. So, um,
No, it's the whole point of the segment. We shouldn't even done this shit.
clear the tape. But no,
Okay,
I just
so
think it's a high scoring affair. Like you said, um, Brock Purdy got it done against Seattle last time. Jordan Love. I think this is a Josh Jacobs game. We were talking during the game yesterday. I had Tyreek because I have Tyreek Hill on my team. I had him in my lineup, and Josh Jacobs on the bench because I was like, Chicago, whatever, blah blah blah. Not that they're like super scary for running backs, but I was like, Tyreek has the potential to be nothing, which is crazy to say. Josh Jacobs does not.
Are you
So
starting him over Tyreek?
yeah, I'm putting
Oh wow,
Debo, and now I have AJ Brown. Debo and AJ Brown is my receivers, and in my flex is Josh Jacobs with Brees
good for
Hall and
you.
Joe Mixon. I can't stomach benching Brees Hall, not with the matchup they have,
Yeah.
which is gonna hurt me. Um, so this feels wrong, but we'll see how it goes. All right.
All
So
right. Since we brought up Tyreek Hill, I just want to do a little mini game for you
fucking shit. We don't have time for
because
this.
listen, we got time. You're gonna make time because this is eye-opening shit here. We're gonna play who has a higher points per game,
All right. Oh, I'll win this for sure.
Tyreek Hill or
Oh, okay.
Tyreek Hill or Garrett Wilson last year.
Garrett Wilson for sure.
I'm gonna tell you after.
Okay.
Quentin Johnston or Tyreek Hill.
Quentin Johnson this year.
Yeah,
Quentin Johnson. He had a huge game, and Tyreek has
I think Quentin Johnston's highest game was 14 points, but
really.
yeah, but he's actually been pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'll take QJ.
Hill or Bateman.
Ooh, I just looked at Bateman. Yeah, Bateman for sure. It's got to be.
All right, Keon Coleman or Hill.
Keon had some stinkers, bro. I'll take Tyreek over Keon.
Okay, and Jacoby Myers or Tyreek Hill.
Jacoby Myers.
You got them all right, kind of.
What do you mean, kind of? There's only one answer to this.
Garrett Wilson and Tyreek Hill are the same player essentially. Seven points per game.
7 points last year.
Yeah.
Okay, but I got them all right.
So yes.
Hey, Keon was the one.
I don't know why you're excited.
Well,
because
I'm excited because I'm a genius, and
but
the
just
future's
look at
bright.
the names I'm listing, and even just like everyone who drafted Garrett Wilson in the second round last year was depressed,
including yourself.
And now you have Tyreek Hill. Yes, I was one. Now you have Tyreek Hill, who you probably drafted in the first, or you traded a lot for him, and he's doing what Garrett Wilson did last year.
Which is true on paper.
I honestly think that Tyreek Hill at this point in the season is unstartable.
I don't think that's entirely true, only for the one reason is that those stats are retrospective. That's in the past. And he's had 3 games with Tua, 4 without. Or 5 without.
His numbers haven't changed.
Okay, week 1 was great with Tyreek. He had 123 and 1. Okay. And then he had
That's the
what?
only
4?
week he's been over double digits.
Correct. But he's had 3 total games with Tua. 4. Sorry. He's had 4. And
yeah, and 3 of the 4 have sucked.
Okay. I
and
get that.
And they put up 28 points last week.
That's what I was gonna say. Is the only concern I have. It's not about Tyreek himself. Except this wrist injury that apparently needs surgery at some point. Is their offensive game plan doesn't seem to be centered around him. It's centered around the running backs. That's my concern. So
yes,
do I think that Tyreek can get back to exactly what he was last year? No, I don't think it's possible. I think the team's too different. But unstartable.
I think he's the biggest trade away candidate. Like, I know you have him on your team. If I were you, I would use his name before he just continues doing what he's doing. But obviously, maybe he'll have a couple more 24-point games. But, like, dude, I would trade him for Jaden Reed.
Nah, I don't want to do that.
I would trade him for Mike Evans.
It's possible.
Zay Flowers.
Nah, I wouldn't do it for
Drake London if I could.
I would do it for Drake London. I would trade Tyreek for Drake.
Look at the names we're talking about that he's associated.
Listen, I understand, but that's half the season thrown down the drain with a mercenary of what's his name, Huntley come in, Skylar Thompson, who's been
half
garbage.
of his games he's had with Tua.
one. So he went out in the Buffalo game. So he had 1 1/4 game. I'm not even counting week 2. So he had one game, and then after the bye, then the first game back was against Indy. No, sorry, it was
I
against
believe the Bills
Arizona.
game was in garbage time because I remember people saying, "Why was he even playing still?"
He had 4 games with Tua. 4 games. 4. He had 72 yards against Arizona.
Okay, 4 out of
80.
10, pretty much. Okay,
Okay,
40% of his games.
listen. Well, there was a buy in there. But I'm saying 72 yards, 80 yards. Last week, 16 in the score, and then that 130 and 1. He's not been god awful with Tua. The games without Tua, he had 8 yards,
I'm
69,
just saying, in a game where
23, 40, 24.
they put up over 25 points last game, and he had 16 yards.
Well, they won 23-15. Um, yeah, I know. It was weird. It was terrible. I told you I don't like the way that they're using it. I'm just saying you said borderline unstartable. I don't agree that that's entirely the
He,
case.
if I had Tyreek Hill, he would be put on my bench until he proves otherwise.
But he's on my bench now.
Yeah, and I think I would keep him there, especially with the people you have. I would keep him there until he's returned to what he could be.
Fair. Fair enough.
But I'm just saying, yeah. I just wanted to open those eyes to that. I just thought it was crazy because I was like looking at his stats and I was like, this reminds me of Garrett Wilson from last year, and that's sad. So
Yeah, except Garrett Wilson actually caught way more passes than Tyreek has. He's just not even been
yeah,
targeted. That's the issue. Um, all right, let's run through this joint. So you said on your paper you called it track or trap. So I'm assuming it's like, are they going to get back on track or is it a trap?
yeah. So basically, like players that could be, either or.
Okay. Well, I want to start with mine. Run through this lightning quick, and then we'll
All right,
run through our DFS and get the hell out of here.
all right.
Um, so I took a different approach. So this person had a fantastic, actually number 2 at their position performance last week, and we touched on it a little bit. And I was hoping you didn't get into too much detail because I wanted to talk about it. It's Lamar Jackson. Last week had 290 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns, 33 rushing yards, and a 2-point conversion. QB2 on the week. Do you know what his average versus the Steelers is?
It's bad.
It's not good. He averages 145 passing yards, point 0.7 in 6 total games. He's played 6 games against the
I
Steelers in
believe
his
his
career.
rushing yards are capped as well in those games.
Point 0.7 passing touchdowns is what he averages in 6 games against the Steelers, and 1.2 picks, and only, 43 rushing yards. That's fine, but that's what he averages through 6 games against the Steelers. And Lamar's already won an MVP. Lamar's been a top option the whole career, and that's 3 games. That's 3 years, 6 total games playing against the Steelers. They've had his number. So
I am saying he's trap player this week. I'm going with that.
okay, so you're saying he's trapped, and I think it sucks because like his numbers, even in his MVP year against the Steelers, they weren't good either. Like they weren't great, or they weren't like god awful, but they weren't
Yeah, maybe like 23 points.
great. So, um,
With how good quarterbacks are playing this year, you've got to put up 25 points to be competitive right now.
and the reason I don't think I don't think he's gonna like suck. I don't think he's gonna give you 15 points. I don't think it's gonna be that. I think he's gonna be in a solid like 23 to 25 point range, which is still good. Like you're gonna want to
Yeah.
start him, just because I think that this game has a potential to be a higher scoring affair than need be. One, I think the Ravens offense is the best in football, and I think the Steelers offense can put up some points now. Unfortunately, with stupid Russ, so I think it has potential to be a higher scoring affair. And unless Derrick Henry just feasts and gets 200 yards and a touchdown, Lamar is going to have a decent game. So I just wanted to hear your thoughts based off his history with the Steelers, as they are a division rival. It's
Yeah.
at Pittsburgh, so
Yeah, I think he's a trap player. Like I said, I could very easily see. Like I said, it could either be high scoring or low scoring, but historically it's been low scoring. So
yep.
I'll side with the trap.
All right, hit me with yours.
All right. I got DeAndre Hopkins at the Bills. Last game, he was 4 for 56.
Um, I think he's going to have a similar output because I think Kareem Hunt has a beast of a game. Honestly,
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean,
Yeah, the
last
Bills'
week,
secondary is not terrible, and their run game is atrocious.
yeah. So
Or run defense, so.
I think they're going to lean on Hunt and Jonathan Taylor last week just gashed them for 1,000,000 yards. Like their rush defense is not good, and the Chiefs have told us throughout the past year and a half that they're willing to win by running the ball, and I think they'll do that this week. So
All right.
trap.
I'm going to say trap as well.
All right, J.K. Dobbins versus Cincinnati. Last week versus Tennessee was 15 for 30, 3 catches for 5 yards. Not good. And I have a interesting stat for you pulled from our NFL fantasy website. He is since week 2, as he started the year hot. He was like, okay, J.K. Dobbins is that dude. Since week 3, the start of week 3, so excluding weeks 1 and 2, he has the 5th lowest rushing yards over expectation since week 3 in the NFL. So basically, he's had the opportunity, and your average running back should get this many yards, and he has the number is minus 47 yards. So like he's not been playing well. He's
Been atrocious.
he's just not been a good player, flat out. Like
Yeah,
not been a good player.
that's why they've literally been forced to pass the ball to
So
win these games. So,
J.K. Dobbins is someone.
yeah, I'll obviously side with trap on that.
But the thing is like Cincinnati's defense isn't great. He's going to get the work. Although Gus Edwards is back, I don't know. J.K. Dobbins isn't someone you probably can't move off from very easily because he has been good. He's been in your lineup. I just think it's a potential trap with J.K. Dobbins, even though he didn't have the great 15 for 30, and he got 15 carries against Tennessee. Tennessee has a fantastic rush defense, so it's tough to judge someone off of that. But if he put up a similar stat line against the Bengals with how well we think Justin Herbert's going to play, I wouldn't be surprised. So,
Yeah.
give me your last one.
Well, I've got 2 more.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Let's try to go a little faster through this real quick.
All right.
Let's just say track or trap.
All right. Bet.
Got Tyreek Hill versus the Raiders. Not a great game since week 1. Raiders are number 5 versus wide receiver. I say trap.
Unfortunately, like you said, wait and see approach with Tyreek. So I'm benching him. Trap.
All right.
Garrett Wilson, last week against Arizona, had 5 for 41. And the Jets play the Colts this week.
I'm saying track.
He's on track against the Colts?
I think he's on track. Yep. Colts do not do well against the wide receiver 1. We have Kenny Moore, who is good, but he doesn't follow the wide receiver. So oftentimes when he's not on them, they do well.
And last week was his second worst game of the year with 41 yards with a positive matchup. So that's why I was like, where does he go from here? It's kind of the same. I feel the Colts defense and the Cardinals defense in a very similar tier. Like they've had great games, they've had terrible games. Like what are they? So
yeah, they've been inconsistent for sure.
I'm gonna say it's a trap game as well. Unfortunately.
Oh, okay, I said track.
Oh, well, yeah, no, I think it's a trap. I think which. If it was going to go right, it was going to go right against Arizona last week. So I think it's as a.
Who do you think wins that game?
I think the Jets win it with the run game.
You don't think the Colts could with the same philosophy?
They could. I guess I trust Aaron Rodgers in like game-winning situations more than I do Anthony Richardson. But I think it's a closer game than what people will think. So.
Yeah.
All right.
I got Jared Goff versus the Jags. He had 5 interceptions last week, but the Jags are number 30 versus quarterback.
I think this is a definition of a trap game. It all looks great on paper, but like I said, I think the rush game just completely dominates, and that was part of my bet the house. So trap.
Yeah, I'll say trap as well.
All right. Speed run. So this is something I have not won. I think since we've started doing this, you've won like 4 out of 5 weeks.
Yeah,
on this.
done pretty well.
Yeah, I think I've been. Also, I will preface this. I think we have a lot of the same players, and it's going to piss me off. So, all right, like we did last time, we're going to shout out our DFS, our daily fantasy sports. Our weekly lineup, we're going to do quarterback and make our way down and see, because I'm curious. I want to see if we have it the same. So, start with quarterback. You ready?
Oh yeah, I hit it for a reason.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Ready?
You
3.
want to go at the same time?
Yeah. Same time.
Okay.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Russell
Justin
Wilson.
Herbert. Oh.
I got Russell Wilson at 7,800. What'd you pay?
See, I almost did Russell Wilson, but when I saw Justin Herbert was only 7,300, I was like, I'll save $500. I view them in a similar situation. So
Yeah, I agree.
so save me $500 there. Okay.
I like your pick.
Hey, you said he's gonna be top 5 at the position, so I'm shocked you didn't scroll down and take the cheaper option. Someone you think's gonna be
Yeah,
top 5.
I made this like Tuesday. So
You messed up, my boy.
all right.
All right, ready? Run it back. Number 1, 3,
Back number 1.
2, 1. Dave
Gibbs.
Montgomery.
Oh shit, okay. Well, we're gonna see you there.
I didn't want to pay up for Gibbs, so I got Monty at 8,100 versus Jacksonville.
All right, I paid 8,300.
I was
All right,
only
running back
$200 difference. Yeah, see, I'm fine with that. I'm cool with the saving 200 on getting Monty. All right, run it back 2.
Defense.
I bet we have the same. 3, 2, 1. Kareem Hunt.
Hunt.
Yep. Damn it.
8,000.
Yeah, 8,000 against Buffalo.
Yeah, I thought that was really cheap for such a good matchup.
Seriously. All right, wide receiver 1. 3, 2, 1. George Pickens. God damn it.
7,500.
Yep.
All right. This is going to be funny, actually. I feel like we might have a couple more.
All right, wide receiver 2.
Ready?
3, 2, 1. Calvin Ridley. I said we were gonna have the same players.
Dude, if we have the third one.
Oh, we 100% do. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Juwan Jennings.
Juwan Jennings.
Damn it. Bro.
Oh my god.
No
Imagine
way.
if I had done Herbert.
Oh, no way. Okay. We might even have this same. All right. Tight end. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Taysom Hill.
Smith. Okay.
Oh, okay. Cool. No, I knew
Smith.
with Kendra Miller on IR and just no wide receivers.
Yeah.
I was like, Taysom Hill, he can either boom or bust for you, and I'm like, I'll take the cheap points for him.
I had to go cheaper with mine. So Jonnu Smith is still cheap for whatever reason.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see. I don't think we have the same flex, but all right. Ready? Flex.
All right.
3, 2, 1. Cortland
Josh
Sutton.
Jacobs. Okay.
Damn, you were able to get Josh Jacobs in your flex? How?
Yeah, because Jonnu Smith was so cheap.
How much was Jonnu Smith?
5,100.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, Taysom Hill was 6,400, so that sucks. Yeah. Well, because Cortland Sutton was also 6,800. How much was Josh Jacobs?
7,400.
Damn. All right. So this really blows because now, okay, well, defense. 3, 2, 1. Colts.
Yeah.
Okay.
3,300.
So this matchup is essentially Cortland Sutton versus Josh Jacobs, Taysom Hill versus Jonnu Smith, David Montgomery versus Gibbs,
and Wilson
and Russell Wilson versus Herbert. That's actually crazy. I can't believe we had every single.
That's
receiver.
The first time we've ever had more than 2 people or something.
And I thought for sure you were gonna have Herbert.
I cannot believe we had all 3 wide receivers the same though. That's insane.
Pickens, Ridley, Jennings. Yeah, that's crazy stuff. But all right, so we'll have an update at the end of the week. It should be fun. It's great to be back. So looking forward to not another Friday edition. We'll be back at our regularly scheduled time. So but we out of here. If you enjoyed the show, like, subscribe, give us some love. We're building this brand. So in any case, anything else?
Yes. Buy broke bitch, buy hoe.
I'm not even gonna try to ask you. I don't have the time to ask you what the hell that means. So in any case, that's the last call for fantasy football. Don't miss it. We'll catch you next time.